Rodriguez, Breeze, Booker, Stahl, returner, Herring, Rogers, Dudding, Casey, and Whipperman, the starting 9 for head coach Ryan Fulmar. 72-degree night. We're underway with a swing and a foul ball back and on a play. Matthew Anderson is our plate umpire. Doug Thrasher at first. Mark Hutchinson umpires at second. Timothy Cordell over at third. The men in black. No coach needed tonight. Strong winds, however, out of the south at 18. Could make things interesting. And Elijah Rodriguez leads this team in hits. This is his 80th plate appearance of the year as well. .347 batting average. And you'll also notice as we get to the Razorback lineup for defense a little bit later, it's kind of a midweek looking lineup for the Hogs. A chance to get a few guys in who haven't had a lot of playing time, including Parker Rowland, who's behind the plate, the Tulsa native, working with Colin Fisher.
Yeah, you got to love Parker Rowland, the veteran back there, just Mr. Steady Eddie behind the plate. One of the best receivers the Hogs have had in the last few years.
Chopper to the left side. Aloy can't come up with it. And Rodriguez will reach to start the game on what'll be an E6. Looked like he got a decent bounce charging that baseball.
Yeah, I think Vahiva just took a little peek to try to see where that runner was. He knows that Rodriguez runs well. He's also a left-handed hitter, so a little closer. See if he doesn't take a peek right there. Those eyes come up just a little bit. That's what caused that error.
So a base runner for the Golden Eagles. This is Holden Breeze. He has reached base in every game this year, all 16. Big part of their team a year ago where he hit .320. He's actually hitting .338 this year. A couple of home runs. Gilbert, Arizona native. Last year, the everyday guy at third base for a team that won those 52 games and lost only one time in conference play.
I don't care who you're playing against. That's really tough. This is a team that likes to run. A lot more speed last year, but they've already attempted 20 stolen bases, 16 of 20.
Long pause from Fisher before the pitch. That's on the outside corner to Breeze, and the count 2-1. Fisher staring right at Rodriguez. And the next one is down and in. Breaking ball. Just underway. 3-1 pitch. Fouled back and out of play.
Talked about what a year Holden Breeze has had. He already has 14 RBIs. That ties him for the team lead.
Had a handful of injuries, just trying to piece this together until you get a little deeper into the campaign. And it seems like we spend a lot of time talking about every team spending these first 3 weeks, 4 weeks trying to figure out what they've got on their roster, and that might mean some guys who've gone on a pro ball, others that jumped into the portal. That wasn't a problem at all for ORU, but a veteran team, and then you mix in a few guys that are coming into your program, freshmen, newcomers, and try to stir up that pot and see what comes out the other end. There's a pickoff at first base. Fisher kind of lulled Rodriguez to sleep, and then he broke at the wrong time, and that leadoff error is erased.
Well, a really nice move by the freshman Fisher. See Rodriguez, he leans, and then he starts getting off. I don't think he was going anywhere. He just got caught in no man's land, but really nice pick by Colin Fisher.
And the count is full to Holden Breeze. Chopper, comebacker. Leaping stab by Fisher. Runs halfway to first until he feeds McLaughlin. And there's 2 outs.
That's a nice way to pick up your teammate when Aloy had that error at shortstop. It just kind of takes a little bit pressure off of you if you're on defense. Big fella did a nice job fielding his position as well.
Got to get you going in this game,
sure,
doesn't it? From a heartbeat standpoint. This is Kyle Booker, the right fielder. .356 average, 13 knocked in. Reached base in 16 straight games. And for Booker, I got a feeling this is not the first time he has ever played in this stadium. And I'm going to tell you his ties to Arkansas a little bit later on, but He spent 3 years at Tennessee, including 28 games last year, 29 games a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he's leading this team, hitting 356. And you're right, the big stage does not bother him a bit.
A little bit down and out with that pitch at 92 on the gun. Bases empty, 2 outs. It's a high strike given. Pitch is on the way, and it's stroked foul down the left field side from the shadows into the sunshine at Bob Walker. That's a pretty good place to be. Get some rays down the line and left.
Better enjoy them now. They're going to go away here shortly.
You mean in general or just tonight?
Just tonight.
Okay.
No blackout for the future or anything.
No
like
eclipse
that.
or anything coming through just yet? The 2-2 is fouled away. We don't have a game scheduled for the eclipse on the 8th or 9th of April. It's almost too bad we don't. Be kind of fun.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Have an eclipse delay of about 4 minutes. Another 2-2 pitch to Booker. Wave and a miss at that 79-mile-an-hour floater. And the 7th, rolling the start behind the plate. Wilmsmeyer in center. Stovall 5 for 13 this past weekend with a homer. Also 5 runs batted in.
I'll tell you one thing Brett DVH likes to do is kind of get that righty-lefty going in the lineup so you don't bunch those left-handers all together.
Also pushed Diggs down in the lineup a bit, and I think the thought process is maybe an opportunity for him to drive in more runs, although he is batting 5th, so he not guaranteed of batting in that 1st. Stovall, big rip and a miss.
Nice changeup up in the zone for Isaacs.
Ground ball to short. Right to Herring. He'll retire Stovall. For out number 1.
I don't think we have to worry about the pitch clock with Caleb Isaacs. You talk about a guy who is ready to go.
Vahiva Aloy in. Couple of home runs, 14 knocked in for Vahiva. See the overall batting average, maybe not where he would like it, but he's 9 for his last 31 with 10 runs batted in during that stretch.
Yeah, he's definitely starting to heat up. I think he's kind of tightening up that strike zone a little bit.
It's a pretty good spit on that pitch type of effort on one that was just off that outside corner.
Yeah, that's a really good eye right there. That is a pitcher's pitch, but yeah, about a baseball off.
Fouled down the line in right, not a play. Isaacs last year had 29 games, but they were all out of the bullpen, but he was 8-0 with a 5.36 earned run average. I think those that would tell you that wins and losses aren't important from a stat standpoint might say, well, that's a pretty good example. Why? You know, you have a 5.36
Sure.
ERA, but you're living right. You're 8-0.
Oh, when you go 23-1 in conference play, that'll help. that'll help.
He did have about a strikeout per inning, and he threw 45 and a third innings out of the bullpen. Couple of years at Western Oklahoma State, delivers ball 4 to Aloy, and that's the first base runner for the Razorbacks. Felt like the last couple of years, Troy, left-handers were the tonic to really cause this offensive Arkansas team some fits. But this year, they're not quite as left-handed, even though they have Stovall back. And you do have Stovall, McLaughlin, and Diggs in there now. But in years past, they were predominantly left-handed at times. Tell you what Ben has done, though. His average at 364. He's also knocked in 15 runs. In his last 6 games, he's had 4 multi-hit affairs. 11 for his last 24. And Benny Barrel's on a pretty good stretch, including that game back on Sunday when he had 4 hits. Knocked in 3 runs. Takes that one outside, and the count's going to 3-0.
Yeah, he's really been seeing the baseball well, and I think the big thing for McLaughlin is he's not pull happy. He'll take that ball to left field, left center anytime that pitcher tries to go to that outside part of the plate.
Quite content to take a 4-pitch walk and back-to-back free bases for the Razorbacks. Brings up Hudson Polk. He's had 11 at-bats this year, but he's knocked in 5 runs.
The Arkansas batters are just having some tremendous patience right here against the very quick-working Caleb Isaacs.
He pitches in. Is that at least 7 in a row that have missed?
Yeah, I think so. If you're Hudson Polk, this is going to take a visit to the mound.
Yeah, I'm
right
surprised
here.
we haven't seen one yet.
Yeah.
And only because you just want to kind of
slow that heartbeat down just a
break
little
up
bit.
the rhythm that's not going in the right direction.
Well, that's one of the bad things when you have a guy that likes to work quickly. It can go in there, against themselves when they get out of a roll. I mean, when they're on a roll, it's really great, but boy, that rhythm gets messed up a little bit, and you can't keep going fast.
Two-0 pitch to Polk. That's a strike over the inside edge.
Definitely a strike, but a pitcher's pitch right there. I think that's a good take by Hudson Polk.
Although he's at second, McLaughlin aboard at first. Big wave of a miss by Polk. He was trying to do some damage.
That's a pitch right down the chute that Hudson missed. I think he just kind of overswung on that one.
It's just a little bit in. Count has gone full. Polk with a chopper to third, and that is a foul ball. A couple of feet, a little closer to Breeze at third, and it might have been a double play, even though it was a high chopper because he was able to at least move in the direction of third base.
Hudson Polk's going to take his time to get back to the box. That's one way to slow a pitcher down just a little bit.
That's a long run, Troy. That's 90 feet.
I know. I'd have to stop and take a pit stop somewhere.
You might. Another payoff. That is a wave and a foul ball to plate. Casey could not hold on to get the strikeout. TVH going sweatshirt tonight.
It's a little chilly when the sun goes down.
By the third inning, he'll look like the smart one. High pop-up right side of the diamond. Will this stay in play? And that is a long route from Stahl. He got there. He went to the wall, and then he kept charging near our camera, near the Razorback dugout, and he stayed with it. That's a nice play.
Well, I'll tell you one thing he did that was correct is he went and found the wall first. He goes back. He's going to take a look right there, and then he starts trying to go parallel with the wall. That's just a really nice job dealing with that wind. He made that play look easy.
Our cameraman was trying to protect himself. Had he been swinging that thing around, Stahl might have run right into the end of it. And here's Kendall Diggs. Well, Kendall had his first 2 hitless games of the year against UCA when he had a couple of walks, and then an 0 for 4 against McNeese, which was back on Saturday in game 1. Then he had the home run to walk it off in the second end of that doubleheader, and had 2 singles and 2 walks on the game Sunday. So his average at .352. I think, again, the reasoning for him batting 5th is a chance to drive in more runs. Well, here he is with 2 men on base, down in the count, just did stay alive. In that win Arkansas had on Sunday, they scored 18 runs, Troy. 13 of those runs and 13 RBIs came with 2 outs in the game.
Yeah, he is. As a team, this ball club not afraid to put some things together with 2 outs. And
well, for the series,
yeah,
Arkansas had 23 runs batted in with 2 outs. And you're probably going to win a lot of games when that takes place. Diggs will wave and miss. So Isaacs put a couple of runners on, but that's it. Arkansas strands 2 as Diggs K's. We'll talk more about that trip to the College World Series last year later on. This is Drew Stahl, a returner, who hits a chopper off his foot, I think. It was called foul at the plate. Stahl had 11 homers, 57 knocked in, just hitting below 300. And Troy, I would say what this team did last year, boy, they found a way to hit a lot of home runs and also steal a lot of bases.
Yeah, they're one of the only teams that almost stole 100 bases and hit 100 home runs. That is almost unheard of at any level of college baseball.
Because the home run teams don't want to run.
Right.
And the running teams run because they can't hit home runs. They did both. Good pitch from Fisher for a strike.
Boy, that's a backdoor breaking ball that is almost unhittable.
He's not afraid to pitch into righties. Gets the swing and a miss at the plate. Stahl will be tagged by Roland. That's a couple of strikeouts for Colin Fisher.
You just think about the team, the ORU team a season ago. They lost 4 guys that hit over 300 with double-digit home runs. You talk about a lot of production out of that lineup that has had to be replaced.
You lose a Mac McCroskey who had 14 homers, a Blaze Brothers who had 12. It's a pitch to David Herring, the shortstop. It's up and in.
Jonah Cox, who hit 412 and hit 11 home runs. How do you replace that?
412.
412.
In 66 games.
Well, yeah, by the way, he also stole 28 bases.
Okay, for good measure.
Yeah.
There's that combination, power and speed. Soft dribbler towards short. Aloy will charge and throw on the run. The extension from McLaughlin, who's played a really nice first base this year, and there's 2 outs.
Well, you're right. Ben McLaughlin has really come into his own over at first base. He was kind of, a little heavy-footed over there just a bit. Always had the nice soft hands, but his footwork's gotten tremendously better, and the confidence is just getting better and better game in, game out.
I told him today at the batting cage, his infield teammates have been giving him a workout as far as coming off that bag and having to slap down tags. And then he had the pickoff where the Cowboys stopped short at first. This is Alex Rogers, the center fielder. Batting with the bases empty and 2 gone. Rogers out of Omaha, SFA transfer. Also spent a couple of years at Barton County Community College. Really big numbers last year at SFA, 363, 10 homers.
He's already hit 7 doubles on this season. Some guys just have the ability to find the gap. Might be down the lines or drive one into the alleys.
I mean, we all like home runs, but I love a good double to the gap.
Gotta love it.
One, 2 to Rogers. A little bit up, a little bit out, but not by much.
And then if you're the hitter and you hit that ball in the gap, and you got to bust it out because any little bobble, you might be standing on third.
I think he's got enough wristbands and watches on
is.
that left hand. That's strike 3. Perfectly placed from Fisher to strike out Rogers to end the inning.
A little bit of control issue. He's going to sit about mid to upper 80, with that fastball.
Peyton Holt will bat. 8 for his last 15. Something about pitchers from Owasso. Maybe it's just Dylan Bundy, a few others that have come from that community.
Maybe something's in the water.
There's several. 1 ball, 1 strike. Again, 4 or 5 of the top arms out of the bullpen have been on the shelf for ORU, so Coach Fulmar trying to get a few back, including Isaac, so we thought we might only see him for an inning, and now Sanford comes into the game. Big deep breath before the 2-1 pitch to Peyton Holt. That's in again. Holt had a couple of hits and a walk back on Saturday in Game 2, and he's going to walk here. Tell you what, Troy, he seems to get on base a lot, but he also seems to score a lot of runs, and I think that's where Peyton Holt gives you a different dimension. He's played 14 games, scored 11 runs, so that's a good ratio.
Well, I think so, and I tell you one thing that makes Peyton Holt special in many things is, but he's a very aggressive base runner, and he's a guy that's not afraid to go from first to third on balls, and some guys might not take that chance, but he is very aggressive and knows how to run those bases. And there's a lot of difference between straight line speed or how fast you can get from first to third. Can you cut that second base corner sharp and propel yourself to the next base?
This is Ross Lovich, 9 for his last 17 with 9 runs driven in. And I think if you would make a category of pleasant surprises, Lovich would be at the top of that list. And it's not because we didn't expect him to perform. We just didn't know a lot about him, even though he was at Mizzou. When you compare him to some of the other guys we were talking about with Aloy and others, newcomers, freshmen.
Yeah, he's really done a good job of getting the barrel to the baseball. Kind of got locked up on that 0-1 pitch. But like you said, he's made a lot out of his opportunities and had a couple of good pinch hits and already found the other side of the fence with a home run.
He was back on Sunday. 306 last year for Mizzou, but in less than 100 at-bats. He'll be plunked, so Arkansas with a couple of free base runners to begin the bottom of the second inning. '22nd season for Dave Van Horn, 3-time Coach of the Year. You know, when you talk about offense, I think probably the one thing that would intrigue that man about this year's team, and we'll jump into their rankings a little bit later on, where they are, batting average, homers, and RBIs. Spoiler alert, it's at the bottom of the league for now. Roland to bunt, drops one down, picked up by Sanford, and his throw to first is in time. So Roland with the sacrifice moves a couple of runners into scoring position.
Nice job by Parker Rowland right there.
This is where I'm heading in this department, though, Troy. Arkansas, they had just 16 home runs, and they bumped their batting average up to 300. But when you add the walks and hit by pitches together coming into play today, they have more in that category than they do strikeouts.
Yeah,
and that's really odd.
That's really impressive. Talks about the patience of this lineup. Nate Thompson's done a really good job of, telling them to be aggressive in the strike zone. I think there's two different factors there. You can be aggressive at the plate and swing at everything. There's a good look at Nate Thompson. He's got a whole lot of back, doesn't he?
One to Wilmsmeyer. It's a strike. I will say this, though, when you don't strike out, you put the ball in play. Arkansas leads the conference in grounded into double plays. You might sense that already, but it feels like that power's on the uptick. Teams up to 66 in the country in batting average. They entered last weekend somewhere around 110.
Yeah, I think the offense is going to start coming around. You have some guys like Aloy that has just got a huge upside. And you have Stovall back. I think that's going to add some more consistency and quality at bats at the top of the lineup.
But runs and RBIs, you wouldn't expect to be second from the bottom of the conference. Now, again, I think once you get Stovall back, again, that solidifies things. The slugging goes hand in hand. But listen, if you hit more home runs, your RBIs go up, the runs go up, the slugging percentage goes up, and the batting average goes up.
Whole lot of good things
hit
happen.
More homers, and you affect all of those categories. And that's high, and that's ball 4. But again, there have been no shortage of Arkansas hitters willing to take their bases or be hit by pitches. In fact, that's 3 free base runners this inning, and the Beer Hats make their first appearance of the night, even over your hat and sweatshirt.
You got to do what you got to do on a cold night. But you're exactly right. I think that this team's patience, and I think that talks about the depth from 1 through 9 of this lineup. I don't think they have anybody that feels like if I don't do it, the next guy won't. And I think that's a good thing with this whole entire lineup. And again, they getting Peyton Stovall back, he's going to have a good quality at bat right here as well.
Stovall bounced to short and is only AB. Pitch had a little bit of run to it. Sanford to Stovall. It's letter high and missing.
That's where Sanford's been missing, up in the zone. He would love to find a double play ground ball somewhere. You see the Golden Eagles kind of pinching up the middle just a hair.
It's a good take. That is right at the top of the zone, but called ball 2.
But that's a big difference right there. That's a borderline pitch, and it goes Stovall's way.
The 2-1. Fouled back and out of play.
It's a really good location by Braden Sanford. He's 2-1. He doesn't give in. He just doesn't throw that ball right down the chute. It's that outer third of the plate, kind of knee high.
Bases full of Razorbacks. A 2-2 pitch to Stovall. Drill towards right center field. Rogers will take it on a bounce. This will chase home a pair, and Arkansas has an early lead. Peyton Stovall has 7 runs batted in his first 4 games.
I just think that's what Peyton Stovall brings to this lineup, is a guy that can do some damage in that one hole. Watch how long he keeps his barrel in the strike zone right here. That is a pitch that's in the very bottom part of the zone, and I tell you, he does an outstanding job dropping that back knee and staying level as he goes through the baseball.
Good hard contact. Brings up Aloy, who walked his only time in. I was asking you for a comp the other day on Aloy with his stance, with his feet close together. There's a little bit of a crouch, and our friends on Twitter sent me a couple of...
Hunter Pence, maybe?
Well, no, Hunter was wide open. He was not quite like that. Someone sent me a Ryan Sandberg and then a Glenn Allen Hill. So if you have any other more 1980s Cubs, there's a liner in the left for a base hit. Wilmsmeyer will score on the base hit from Aloy, and it's a 3-0 Razorback lead. They've cashed in those 3 free base runners to start this inning.
Well, if he can hit like Ryan Sandberg, he's going to have a really nice career. I like that. He is pretty similar.
So if you got any other 1980s Cubs or others you want to send me, I'll take them. But I'm leaning a little more towards the Sandberg than Glenn Allen Hill just by the uniqueness of their setup. But whatever it is, Vahiva, Troy's driven in 11 runs now in his last 32 at-bats, so you like that.
Caught that one on the end of the bat and just kind of muscled that one out into left field.
Here's McLaughlin, takes strike 1. I'm not ready to make a definitive decision yet on what that stance reminds me of, because it's a little different, but it's starting to work for Aloy, and the numbers are on the rise, and Arkansas has played at 3 this inning. McLaughlin with a pop-up. The wind should work this towards the seats, and it will, about 10 rows deep. Fan pretty pleased with himself making that catch. He should be. Is he going to give that to the little one?
Ask him if he's okay. There he goes.
There we go. Good job.
All 3 of the Arkansas runs, walk, hit by pitch, and a walk, all free base runners. That'll keep coaches up at night, won't it?
Well, you're talking about 3 runs on 2 singles. Because Arkansas had just 18 runs on 12 hits Sunday. They had a lot of free base runners. McNeese walked 10, and that was in 7 innings. A big chopper to the right side, fielded by Whipperman, and they're able to get the out at first. Here's the throw home in time to cut down Stovall. How about the 2 outs on a play where it looked like off the bat maybe it was going to find its way into shallow right field, and yet the Golden, kind of a baseball blue blood. So there's not a ton of teams that have been able to get all the way through a super regional and to Omaha.
Yeah, that's right. And some people that see Louisville's name up there, that was before they were in a Power 5 conference.
Coastal, of course, won the national championship over Jay Johnson's Arizona Wildcats. This is Cole Dutting.
That was a great year for them.
Sure was. They lost the first game of that championship series. You go back, though, last year and you think about this ORU team. They are the southernmost team in the Southern League by a wide margin when you compare that to North Dakota State and South Dakota State and Northern Colorado. Ball lifted in the air to right field. Diggs over, shy of the track. He'll make the catch for out number 1. That means they'll probably host a lot of their conference series early because they have better weather. Means they go on the road late. Then the conference tournament's on the road. What did they spend, like 45 of 60 days on the road last year?
You just can't imagine. And, having bus rides of 10 hours, 14 hours. You talk about a team that was just absolutely worn out. But tell you what, they were just playing on adrenaline at the end of the year.
Playing well. Here's Garrett Casey. Would you like to hop on a bus to Fargo or Brookings, South Dakota, or can I interest you in that?
I tell you what, I think I'll have to just take someone's word for it.
You're going to pass?
Long. I'm going to pass.
You're missing out. As someone who's made that drive from here to Brookings, South Dakota, it'll make you question a lot of things.
I bet you had to have a lot of Mountain Dew and sunflower seeds to keep yourself awake.
Stop in Sioux Falls and see the falls, and maybe stop at Omaha and get yourself a sandwich. Other than that, it is a lot of corn and a lot of farm ground.
And didn't you say that the field was still almost frozen in April?
Yeah, April. I went to the field at South Dakota State, and I said, well, this is their old one. Where's their new one? And they said, this is the current one. I said, you kidding me? As Casey waves and misses, because it had a bit of a Canadian feel, right? You've got the tundra, so either it's snowy or you feel like you're going to sink in about 6 inches. No games have been played there, as Fisher gets the wave and a miss, because by April it feels like we played about 30 home games in this ballpark.
That's about right. Fisher with a really dandy changeup, and again,
well, there's Dylan Whipperman with the second base hit for ORU, a line drive to right field.
I tell you what, Whipperman hit that ball so hard right at Kendall Diggs, and he had to bust it out of the box. I think he thought that Diggs might come up and fire to first base. Might have been a pretty close play.
Felt like he was trying to gauge a hard one-hopper.
It's a really nice swing right there by the 9-hole.
All right, well, you think about that. You get back to me if you'd like to take a drive to Brookings or Fargo.
Are you down to do it again?
Well, I've done it once. I mean, I could probably survive it again. I'm not sure.
I need a half a dozen or a dozen breaks on the way there.
Back to the top of the lineup for Rodriguez, who reached on an air by Aloy to start the game, but then was picked off first base. Fisher runs one to the outside corner. It's kind of that almost a slurvy type breaking ball, or a little more of a curve for you?
I think I'd call it more of a curve. That was 77. So you got to be over 80 to get anything in the slurve category.
More curve velocity. As he misses upstairs with a fastball.
You're right. Colin Fisher, as a freshman, he's not afraid to pitch inside. He'll work both sides of the plate. He's probably trying to go back and set him up, Rodriguez, on the outside corner again.
Do we see a Matt Hobbs in the dugout tonight?
I have not.
I don't know if I've seen Coach Hobbs here this evening. I don't know if he got pulled aside. See if we can find a Coach Hobbs. Am I blowing his cover right now by wondering where he's at?
Could be recruiting.
Could be. Whipperman runs. Ball four to Rodriguez. So 2-out single and then a walk. And the Golden Eagles bring the tying run to the plate.
Now batting, number 5, Holden Breeze.
Again, Holden Breeze, one of those carryovers from last season's team. Still putting up some really good numbers. In 333 with a pair of bombs and 12 driven in. I think this is what Parker Rowland's talking about. He's like, hey, this guy can do some damage. Let's make sure that hit your spots.
Well, he's done damage for a couple of years. He came out of South Mountain Community College, Arizona native, but last year you mentioned 42 runs batted in, 36 walks, had a 28-game on-base streak. You see Breeze and Stahl there, along with Jacob Hall, who, of course, we won't see tonight. Brooks Fowler, another pitcher. A couple of years ago, though, Breeze started pretty much every game as well, hit 377.
Really nice changeup right there, and I think that's what you do when you've got a guy like Breeze. There's Will McIntyre warming up in the bullpen. I think he's ready. It didn't take a long time for Mac to get loose, but you got a guy like Breeze who's wanting to do some damage to the plate, kind of slow that bat speed down with a few changeups. Might see another one right here.
Hard hit. Knocked down by Eloy. Throws to second, close but safe. Great effort, but an infield base hit from Breeze, and the bases are full of Golden Eagles with 2 outs. He saved a run.
Yeah, he really did. That's exactly what I was going to say. The range by Vahiva Eloy. And then just his wherewithal to even think that, man, I may have a shot at second base. He throws an absolute strike. It wasn't too close.
Stovall's doing his best first base impression from a couple of years ago.
He had some, but it seemed like he was shooting balls down that left field line.
South Bend, Mississippi native. Last year, 28 games with the Vols. Struck out back in the first swinging. Kind of a ball and strike here in the 3rd inning with the bases juiced. He's been hit by a pitch 4 times this year, and he stands somewhat close to the plate. Strokes one out, shallow center field. Wilmsmeyer will glide in and make the catch. ORU leaves the base.
3 from Wake, and yeah, A&M, they're just on a roll.
Well, they are. Arkansas #1 as Hudson Polk bats in the bottom of the 3rd. I believe now it's 97 straight coaches polls that Arkansas has been ranked going back to 2017. Now that's when I arrived, so maybe that have something to do with it. I'll take it. Polk with a 1-hop smash to Herring at short. Long throw gets Polk, and there's 1 out. But 97 straight coaches polls where Arkansas has been ranked, Trey, but they've been in the top 10, I think, in 49 of the last 50 polls.
Yeah, it's just the consistency is just absurd. It really is. And again, there's no team in college baseball. I think it was like the last 7 years they've had 45 plus victories. It's just incredible year in, year out what Dave Van Horn does with this ball club and that entire coaching staff with the recruiting.
There's Kendall Diggs. In fact, I think the last time Arkansas was #1, it would have been the very end of the regular season 2021, the Kevin Kopps year when they were 50-13 before the regional. ORU, though, has won a regional in this stadium before.
What, I'm trying to remember, what year was it? Not that long ago.
I think maybe 2006. Does that sound right?
It's in there somewhere.
This could easily be a team that would come here in a regional. Not when they win 52 games, but,
right.
You know, it'd be a 3 seed maybe here with a Big 12 team or an ACC team if Arkansas is able to host again, and they're in a pretty good early pole position to do that. Ground ball off the side of the mound to the shortstop Herring. He's had 2 plays this inning and taken care of both Polk and Diggs.
Some really nice positioning by the Golden Eagles. Herring just let that ball come to him. I don't know if he even moved.
Two gone for Peyton Holt. Walk to begin the 2nd. One of 3 free base runners that all score. It's against Sanford, so he's back out there for a 2nd inning looking for a perfect 3rd. His 2nd. There's a base hit into left. Polk keeps getting on base. That's why I like having him in this lineup one way or another. Jared Sprague, maybe not 100% right now, and Peyton Holt getting his opportunity, and a guy who could play 2nd or 3rd.
Well, I mean, 2 at-bats, he's been on base twice. I mean, that's just what he does.
I got news for you now that Mr. Stovall's back. the options start to get a little more limited to 3rd base. Lovich lifts one in the air, playable center. Rogers gliding to his right, makes the catch and ends the inning. So, single from Holt, runner left on base. 3 complete in this midweek. Stahl, Herring, and Rogers, 4, 5, and 6 for Oral Roberts in the 4th inning. And this is Stahl, who struck out back in the 2nd. Castle Rock, Colorado native. Spent 3 years at Minnesota, 20, 21, and 22. He's the #1 player by 1 service coming out of Colorado. He's a high school player, third by perfect game.
One of those guys, that returners, that brings a whole lot of experience. And when you've got that much postseason experience, it really carries over to just staying calm. And you just know that it's a long season. You can't get too high or too low.
Went after that cutter. I think they have 20 first-year players at ORU. Got just a couple of guys that were everyday players from a season ago, and they won 52. Cutter carried a little bit off the corner. That almost looked like more of a traditional cutter right there than it did the straight dropping one.
You're right. It only had an inch of vertical break, so that was almost more like an old-fashioned slider.
Here's a payoff. That one's left up and hit hard in the center for a base hit. That one didn't get quite the drop, although that was more of a fastball about belt high, maybe at the top of the zone. And Stahl did with this pitch what you probably should, Troy.
Yeah, pitch up and away, got some great extension, and again, just hammered that ball right back through the box. And again, you try to pull that pitch, you're going to ground out to short. So just a good hitter with a good swing.
There's a couple of Colorado natives over there at first base.
You wonder if they played against each other. I'm sure they knew about each other.
Probably talking about skiing right now or getting nosebleeds. This is David Herring. Bounced to short his only time in. Wichita State transfer. .294 last year at Wichita State. A couple of years at Cowley College, where he went to not one but two JUCO World Series.
In Colorado.
In Colorado.
There you go. Grand Junction, right?
It is. Although the Division I JUCOs go to Grand Junction, the D2s go to Oklahoma.
Okay.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Herring. How many innings do you have McIntyre pegged for tonight? A couple? I might imagine there's a few guys they want to see throw tonight.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe 2. We did not see Christian Fouch over the weekend. That ball's yanked. Almost got a piece of somebody in the Arkansas bullpen.
And then, of course, there's the Ben Bybee question.
Yeah, I think I saw his name on the roster. So if he's available to go, I know they'd probably want to get him an inning. He has been on mono protocol for seems like forever.
It doesn't sound like a lick of fun.
No.
1-2 is tapped softly, foul.
What if McIntyre doesn't try to come with a backdoor cutter, maybe a little off the plate? Hoping that Herring swings at one that's just outside the zone.
Went upstairs with a fastball. Leadoff single by Stahl. Golden Eagles trying to get on the board here in the 4th. Chopper to first. Fielded nicely by McLaughlin. Back to first. Started and ended by Ben for the 3-6-3 double play.
Well, you can't do it any better than that. And I tell you what, Ben McLaughlin, again, we talked about it earlier in the broadcast, he is just really coming into his own. Great feed to Vahiva Loy. And
did he communicate right there?
I think he did.
McIntyre?
I think he said, hey, I got this. As soon as he threw that baseball, you saw McIntyre kind of pull a parachute and kind of stay out of the way.
Now, you might say to yourself, well, McIntyre could easily get there, and he probably could have, as Rogers bats. But if that throw's bounced, I think Ben is better suited to scoop it.
Yeah, and sometimes you just want to try to keep pitchers away from that bag. You don't want them to twist an ankle on it. They're not used to trying to not look at the bag and follow the ball.
Don't want a collision of any sort. Ball then a strike to Rogers. Struck out looking back in the 2nd. Omaha native. It's Alex Rogers. Big wave and a miss.
I think the big thing on that play by Ben McLaughlin is you already know what you're going to do. I think a lot of players would want to try to go step on the bag and then make the throw. You're not going to turn the double play. That runner's going to be safe at second base.
There's strike 3. So a leadoff single, a double play, and a punch out. McIntyre faces just. And then Duke got that big weekend series win in Winston-Salem over Wake Forest.
Yeah, that was really big. That Duke baseball team has been solid for about the past 5 or 6 years. And they went in there, and that's not an easy team to beat. They got the transfer of Chase Burns from Tennessee, who's got electric stuff, and Wake Forest has got some dandy pitchers.
They do. 2-0 to Parker Rowland. And I think the conversation was coming into this year amongst the national pundits in college baseball, who had the best weekend rotation? Arkansas Razorbacks, Wake Forest Demon Deacons. And I think some thought maybe Wake Forest a little bit better because they had 3 players in the top 10 of those pitchers, and Arkansas had 3 in the top 15 or 20, whatever their rankings look like. But obviously Duke got to that team enough to win a couple of games. 3-1 to Rowland is a called strike. He had discarded his bat thinking he had ball 4. Parker had a quick sack bunt back in the second. He's checking with plate umpire Matthew Anderson. Here's a payoff. Hammered above about 6 Razorbacks, and then the ball skims off the net and down the line and right into the seats. I think everybody lived to tell about that crazy foul ball.
I think Parker,
Barely.
that was a message. Parker said, "You didn't call the inside pitch on me. I'm just going to hammer it foul."
And that is ball 4, so he eventually takes his walk without killing anybody. Watch this.
I mean, this is scary.
I mean, you're barely paying attention right now, and this is a heat seeker. Oh, my goodness. That was close to the opening, the railing there.
I mean, it had so much velocity that it hit off the net and stayed in the stands.
That's a great shot.
Great job by our camera
it
crew.
Was. Everybody's okay. Wilmsmeyer walked back in the second. He's going to show bunt, take a strike.
I'd like to see Wilmsmeyer hit one in the gap and see if he could catch Parker Rowland.
I think Rowland would prefer he not. Leadoff base runner on again. I mentioned it was Sunday in that 18-5 win. Remember, it was a 7-inning game. Arkansas accepted 10 walks in the 6 innings, in essence. They did not bat in the bottom of the 7th. They had a 14-run inning in the 6th. 10 walks total. Well, today they have walked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times with a hit batter.
Yeah, those free base runners, you just can't get a quality team that many free base runners. They'll come back to haunt you.
Fly ball, playable right. Booker started back, now comes gliding in as that wind moves the ball away from him. Makes the grab to retire Wilmsmeyer for out number 1.
Number 10, Peyton Stovall.
Turns this lineup over for Peyton Stovall. Had a 2-run single back in the second. I think the one thing that Coach Fulmar told us about Arkansas when we asked for his scouting report or his thoughts on the Razorbacks was just balance. And that's a balance between pitching and hitting. I think it's also a balance within the lineup sometimes. Maybe 1 through 9, not top heavy, in other words.
Yeah, I think so. And it's a team. You look at the lineup and you've got Stovall 6th and Lovich 7th, and guys that are swinging the bat really well. And I think this lineup is going to continue to hit and hit better.
Is that a fair ball? It is. First, our plate umpire, I thought, pointed fair, and then he changed his mind. He said, nope, foul, my bad, I got it. Stovall was.
He's like, I'm standing in foul ground. He fields it in foul ground. He tags me out.
I was reading the lips of Matthew Anderson. I thought he said something about hitting in the batter's box. Gonna have to see this one again, though.
And Fulmar wanted an out right there, and Stovall just stays put.
Well, I tell you what, the catcher, Casey, standing in fair territory. This is where Stovall, maybe given a second chance, if you want to think of it in those terms, might just drill one to the gap. And then instead of popping up or making an out, then that potential out negated, and Arkansas hoping to take full advantage. Nope, he'll wave and miss. So Sanford wins the battle, able to get that out anyhow. 2 gone in the inning.
Man, really nice changeup, and he just kept throwing Stovall off-speed pitches and kept him out in front. Another good changeup right there, and it all starts with the location of that pitch. That pitch starts right down the middle, and it ends up off the plate low.
Great depth to that pitch.
Oh, yeah. How about 11 inches of vertical break?
Carmack, Springfield, Missouri native. Fajiva walked and singled in a run. Take strike 1. So last year at Illinois Springfield, Carmack was 7-2, 4.02 earned run average, 65 innings. Aloy clubs one down the line and left, but this one has some twist to it. It'll bend at a play.
I don't think Fajiva has any issues pulling baseballs. He's one of those guys that definitely gets that barrel out in front, and with the palm tree too.
A little Hawaiian flavor. Swinging a foul ball right back. Probably not a lot of palm trees in Springfield, Missouri, so that was for Fajiva. With the RBI earlier, he has 15 on the season.
Defensively, they're playing Aloy pretty straight in the outfield and pretty true on the infield as well.
The 1-2. Lifted in the air, left center field, not deep enough. Rogers back just shy of the track. He'll make the catch. That will end the inning. Arkansas strands a runner. We play league, and again last year ORU 23-1 in the league.
If anybody wants to know what minor league baseball's like, just play in the Summit League, especially if you're at Oral Roberts. You're going to have some long bus rides.
I don't even think that does it justice. You're going to have some mammoth bus rides. Cole Dudding flew out to right his only time in, but also a great chance to play in the postseason in a regional.
Yeah, they've just had just the consistency of this Oral Roberts program throughout the years. That's the thing I don't think a lot of just average baseball fans realize is how good this team has been for so long.
And we talked about Louisiana being a great college baseball state this weekend when McNeese was here. And whether it's LSU or Louisiana or Tulane or La Tech, I mean, really passionate baseball fans. Well, Oklahoma's a pretty darn good baseball state as well, with OSU, Oklahoma, and then you start mixing in the JUCOs and throw in an ORU.
Oh, there's no doubt. Arkansas has definitely got their fair share of players over the years from Oklahoma.
McIntyre with a 1-2 to Dudding. Foul to the plate again. He's done that a couple of times. Fouling that ball straight down.
He's battling that cutter, trying to see if he can get one that ends up in the zone instead of one that's knifing down at the bottom part of the zone. And again, when Will McIntyre's on, you're going to see a lot of ground balls out of that cutter.
Poke back and out of play over the top of the roof. Fisher 3 scoreless. Second inning for McIntyre. Just off the corner.
Everything's a strike for the Baum-Walker fans.
Yeah.
That one's about 5 baseballs off.
It's a school night. They want more pace of play, more strikes. Pretty sunset right now over the stadium. First night game of the year, and this is also the 9th game of a 12-game homestand.
McIntyre just trying to pound the bottom of the zone there. Just a good quality at bat by Detting.
Softly hit to short. Charging is Aloy. A little double pump, but throws on the run. Retires Detting to begin the top of the 5th.
Number 4, Garrett Casey.
Well, if Vahiva was playing basketball, it was definitely a travel. I think he took about 6 steps before he let that one go.
Acceptable in the NBA, not in the college ranks. Garrett Casey struck out in his only at bat. He's another Owasso, Oklahoma native through Seminole State. 13 homers in a couple of years playing there in the JUCO ranks. I think what McIntyre is doing now is what he has done pretty much every opportunity, just kind of calming things down. There's not a ton of base runners, not a lot of drama.
And he gets it's not like he has a lot of swing and miss, but it's soft contact. He misses barrels. You're right. He just looks like it's a walk in the park for him.
Kind of calm on the mound, shaking off some signs. Gets to handle a comeback. Little flip to first, 2 outs.
Home plate umpire Matthew Anderson's going, I got to get that one out of here. I'm sure it's got a black mark.
Yeah, they don't last
the cap. No.
long.
It's going to be a really nice BP ball right there.
It's hard to put a ball in play on the infield without it being taken out of play. This is Whipperman. Singleton is only at bat. Blue Valley High School product from Leawood, Kansas. You know, you think about George Brett's pine tar home run. Remember that one, Troy, when he was called down? You know what the impetus for the rule was? Why they didn't want the pine tar beyond the 18 inches on the bat?
Probably didn't want to mess up baseballs.
Didn't want to mess up baseballs because of the cheap owners.
Yeah, exactly.
They wanted to be able to recycle them. And that was the only reason. You don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah, he didn't want guys getting jammed and getting pine tar all over the baseball.
And you'd have to throw it out, and then they'd have to buy a new ball. Apparently that set them back too much while they were pocketing their millions. But that was the whole reason why they instituted that rule.
Back in the day, it would have been what, $1.25 or something for a baseball. I can remember $1.50 seats in the general mission there at Kauffman Stadium.
The old orange seats?
Oh, yeah.
Those were winners right there. But you'd have a ball go down the line in right or left, and they'd have the ball boys, and they'd play it back in. I'm guessing those balls went back in the game. Not anymore. You know, you flip them up into the crowd and try to make somebody's day.
Even opponents will get heckled here at Baum-Walker if they don't flip balls into the stands.
2-2 to Whipperman. That's down for ball 3.
It's good quality at bat right there by Whipperman in the 9-hole. Sometimes guys get a little antsy down there.
McIntyre doesn't walk many. He won't here. Gets the wave and a miss. Has a perfect 5th inning.
Games. It's not all about, you know, peaking very early. You know, it's a long, long season. And Coach Van Horn does a really good job of stressing that. And he's not saying we're going to, you know, coast through it, but our main goal is to win the last game of the season, and that's always going to be the goal.
Kendall Dix has a little coach in him as well, just listening to him. But you want to see guys light up and really kind of just get a big smile where you just can't hold it back. You ask them what it's like to play in Omaha, what it's like to play in a College World Series, because you realize that's what it's all about. I mean, we saw a video earlier from Eugene where Oral Roberts clinched their Super Regional last year. And I called my first regional in Eugene. They have a sign in their batting cage, 1,800 miles to Omaha, whatever it is.
Right.
They've got that posted there. I mean, it's the constant reminder that the goal is always Omaha. And Arkansas has been very fortunate. Now, there wasn't a 2023 last year. For ORU, there was. And I can't imagine what that has done for their program. As McLaughlin hits one down the line and left and out of play. And even when we posed that question to Coach Fulmer today, I don't know if he could quite quantify it yet because they play late. You got to find ways to get kids on campus in the portal right up into the fall, and you don't really have a time to kind of soak it in just yet. But I got to believe there's some benefit going forward.
Oh, absolutely. And this
will be in the air to right. This is kind of the twilight time when it's not easy to see. Someone's going to call it, and that'll be Rogers over Booker to make the catch.
Yeah, but you're talking about somebody that was able to play there twice, and this is the 4 seeds to make it Omaha, but it's just unbelievable. I had the luxury with Arkansas to play in the 87 and the 89 World Series, and, man, you talk about a city that rolls out the red carpet. It is just absolutely spectacular, and we played in the old Rosenblatt Stadium and the new stadium now, and it's you just can't describe how fun it is and just – the buzz, and for a lot of kids, this is one of their first times ever playing from that many fans
Sure.
at one time. It's just unbelievable.
And this is Polk because there was something special about Rosenblatt, although the new stadium has just taken it to another almost mini major league level, and they even had a big league game there before the World Series a couple of years ago because of its size and the way they can pack in 25,000 or whatnot and all the establishments and hotels that surround it, unlike Rosenblatt, which was more of a neighborhood feel. Polk will lift one to left. This ball will send Rodriguez into the corner, and then he'll backtrack and make the catch, route number 2. But it is something that I think is just accepted. It's part of the conversation around Arkansas, and yet you saw ORU make it last year, and we saw that list of 4 seeds. That is really hard to be a 4 seed. It's hard to get through 2 games as a 4 seed, and I think Fresno State, when they did so in 08, they ended up winning the whole thing.
Yeah, that was what's really crazy, and you're right. It's so hard. Arkansas fans, they think it's just commonplace, but I mean, you're right. Kendall Diggs hit it on the head, and Dave Van Horn talks about it all the time. You got to get your team to peak right. You got to be healthy. Everybody's got to be clicking, and it is an absolute gauntlet to get there. You talk about Arkansas season last year. They won the conference and didn't make it to Omaha.
Pitch to Diggs is low, and they talked about being kind of out of gas at the end of the year, thinking they would have a better chance to line up and win a super regional 2 out of 3 than they were trying to win 3 out of 4 or 3 out of whatever it was in a regional. Facing a red-hot TCU team, Diggs drives one high in the air, deep right center field, back to the scoreboard, goodbye, home run number 3 for Kendall Diggs. 30-degree launch angle, hit one up, and then it kind of disappeared into the video board in right center.
Well, you knew he hit it well, 104 off the bat. And again, it was just that little bit of breeze blowing in from right field, and it knocked that one down. So off the bat, Kendall thinks, hey, I caught that one pretty good, but what's that wind going to do? And it cleared by a decent amount, halfway up the video board, but again, you've got to hit the ball a ton when the wind's blowing straight in from the south.
So Peyton Holt, the batter. Singleton walked. Going to shoot one out to right field. Comes out of the glove of Booker. And Holt never stopped. The Wild Stallion goes coasting into second base, and he makes it by an eyelash. If he's not racing at full speed, he would have been gunned down at second base. He'll get the double.
That was a really good job by Rogers to come in there and back up Booker. Booker made almost a great catch on the full dead sprint, trying to take this one off the top of the grass. But look how fast that ball's relayed in, and it's a great throw. Holt, if he doesn't go head first and with all the momentum he possibly can, he's going to be out.
Would agree. Here's Lovich. Flied out to rather deep center to end the 3rd inning. Arkansas had been out hit by ORU until that homer and the double. 4-0 Razorbacks in the 5th. Swinging a foul into the glove of Casey. Just to finish my thought, though, Arkansas ran into TCU, but then ORU defeated TCU in the first game in Omaha. Then TCU eliminated ORU when they met again. Chopper up the middle. Fielded by Herring at short. Low throw in time. Inning over. Arkansas adds to it.
He is one of those guys that is just really, really tough to hit if you're a left-handed batter. Baseball starts out at your back and breaks into the zone.
And it is Elijah Rodriguez to lead things off. Top of the lineup, third time through. Fouled away. Rodriguez, a McLennan Community College product. He got to go back and play a weekend series in Waco against Baylor. That was against Nate Thompson's brother. And Baylor swept that series. Wave and a miss.
Hewlett just comes from a totally different angle. I mean, he is already closed off, and he is stepping not even really directly at home plate. Some cross-body action.
Yeah, it's not comfortable for those lefties by any stretch. And that's strike 3. You think that ball's going to hit you as a left-handed hitter.
Yeah, it's really, really tough. I mean, this pitch should not even be close to being a strike. That starts behind Rodriguez's back and ends up on the inside corner.
Holden Breeze will bat. His single back in the 3rd inning extended his streak of reaching base to every game this year, all 17.
And good hitters just produce. They just find a way to get it done.
Sure do. Different years, different opponents, similar results.
Well, the thing is about this lineup is it's not, no offense to this year's team, but last year they were just so lethal. And so for a guy like Breeze, you know, he didn't get pitched around like he is probably this year.
Holt cutting in front of Eloy, throwing on the run. Nicely done. 2 outs.
A little bit of communication between Holt and Bahiva Eloy, and it's like, well, who should take that? I think anytime the third baseman can get to that baseball and cut it off, they just have a shorter throw. You can see where Eloy was. He was already 6 or 7 feet behind that. And that's not easy play for Peyton Holt. He's, you know, being able to go from second base to third base and really not miss a beat. That's why DVH has all his infielders take a lot of ground balls at every position.
That's Kyle Booker, single into center. So he's reached base in all 17 games. I was talking about Booker earlier and telling you about playing at Tennessee, but his father, I think a few people in this state remember Kevin Booker. At Central Arkansas, had 6 years of pro baseball, was drafted by the Cubs, then I think he was traded to the White Sox before I could see him in the lower minors. His son gets a base hit, and Kevin Booker in 2 years at UCA hit .354, hit .415 as last year. The 11th round pick by the Cubs in '92. So Dad got a lot of hits in this state, and Kyle gets his
velo.
Stalled the batter. Carter was interviewed and talked to the reporters about his progress coming back, and again, 10 months back is pretty amazing. They felt like after the surgery it came out really well. He worked really hard to get back. Ball socked to right. Diggs getting turned around a bit. The wind might help him get there to make the catch. So I'll tell you more about Carter if he comes back next inning. Gets the out to end the frame, 4-0. The stolen base numbers, they'll never look back.
Yeah, I think so. And this is a team that does not run a lot, and the home runs are going to come. ORU's got a new pitcher on the mound. This is Hudson Hart. Hart's thrown in 3 1/3 innings, giving up 3 hits. He's going to sit about 90 miles an hour with that fastball.
Facing Roldan. who rolls one into center past Whipperman for a base hit.
How about Parker Rowland? Sack, bunt, walk, base hit.
But he knows a few of these guys on this ORU team as well.
I think so. This one, I think it bounced about 17 times before it got through the hole. Just Whipperman was played around the pull side, kind of taking away that ball almost where the right fielder would normally play.
Wilmsmeyer fly to right his last time in, tries to bunt. That one had some funny English to it, but played by the catcher Casey, close and out at first. When that ball started to roll away from Casey, you thought Wilmsmeyer's great speed might give him a chance to beat it. Now he's saying the ball hit him, and that's what I talked about, that funny bounce, Troy. I thought that ball might have hit his shoe when it came out to begin with. So you run hoping you're safe, and then when you're not safe, you say, whoa, back it up.
Yeah, I think so. It looked like it hit him in the box.
You know, he's pointing down, and that's where I thought that ball kind of took a right turn, like it was intended to be bunted on the third base side, and then it actually kind of angled straight forward.
I don't believe that's something that can be reviewed, but out of the box, it goes down at.
Well, it hit his knee.
It hit his shin.
Well, that's why. I think if you're Wilmsmeyer, I might say you just got to stop.
Yeah, you just got to freeze. You're probably going to get that call if you do.
You'll get a sacrifice out of it. But that ball definitely looked like it came up and hit that pant leg, or the leg. Stovall knocked in a couple of runs in the 3-run second inning, giving him 7 runs batted in 4 games. Another RBI opportunity has presented itself here.
Seems like Peyton's seen a lot of changeups since he's been back. Better get used to trying to hit everything to left field for a while.
Hart's pitch to Stovall. Rides up and out at 90 on the gun. Rowland trying to get a little extra walking lead so he can score on a base hit. Herring, the shortstop, keeping him close. Pitch to Peyton. Strike over the inside edge.
Hart working both sides of the plate right there. Baumwalker Faithful a little frustrated with that strike.
Stovall hits a chopper to short. Herring has to come around Rowland. Strong throw to first, retires Stovall. Rowland has to hold, now 2 outs.
Stovall's running down the first base line and had all kinds of shields and guards falling off of him.
Aloy is knocked in a run with a single, flied out to center, and walked. His 5th walk of the year. Arkansas leadoff base runner in danger of stranding Rowland unless Vahiva can come through. Big hack and a miss.
I don't think they have to signal into Vahiva swing on the watch.
I'd be curious to know the conversations these opposing teams have when it comes to how they want to pitch him. Comeback, fielded by Hart. Thought about overhanding it, then will go down tonight. Maybe they could, we'll see. Here's Herring, the shortstop. But there's other games around college baseball equally as entertaining as some of the games we just saw on that list. Wake and Coastal, that's a fun one.
Yeah, that's really good.
How about TCU and DBU? TCU had to come back to keep from losing all 3 games to Kansas last weekend after starting undefeated. Oklahoma and Oklahoma State are playing tonight, aren't they?
I think so. That's a great one.
That ball's tagged, hit in the air, deep left center field. This one's got a chance to go, and it pops out of the glove of Lovich. Herring just missed a homer. Lovich just missed a catch. The Golden Eagles have a runner at second base to begin the 7th inning.
Boy, Lovich did the hard part. He found the fence. He covered a lot of distance and just didn't squeeze it at the very end. That ball smoked to the opposite field. That was 99 off the bat. It looked like it had a chance to get out, and right at the fence.
He needed one more foot.
I think Lovich made contact with the fence as he was trying to catch that ball at the same time.
Here's Rogers, 0 for 2, and he's facing Dylan Carter. Came on, got the final out in the 6th on a fly ball. And we were talking about Carter coming back from his surgery in 10 months. Tried to get in a couple of games, finally did on Sunday. Back out there today. And when he spoke with the media recently, he talked about his BP sessions when he was coming back, and it was really an interesting comment or conversation. He said his pitchability was better, his pitch sequencing was better, which gave him more confidence, even though he hadn't pitched in a game. I do think the adrenaline was pumping pretty good the other day. But when you're talking about your pitchability and your sequencing and BP sessions, I think that's an advanced pitching thought process.
Yeah, I think so, and that just shows his experience and just being around the program. And sometimes, you know, getting hurt, you're in the dugout, so you hear everything that's coming out of Matt Hobbs' mouth, and that's like going to college right there for pitchers.
Popped out of the glove of Roland. Had Herring taken off, I think he would have made it, but down 4-0 and nobody out, no reason to risk that. Are you a little surprised, though, he pitched on Sunday and then back on Tuesday?
A little bit.
Socked just beyond the reach of Eloy off the bat of Rogers. Herring had to wait to make sure that ball wasn't caught. And here come the Golden Eagles, runners at the corners and nobody out.
Yeah, a couple balls that were really hit well, but Eloy was playing right around, swung around more in the hole at shortstop instead of where he normally would be. And you see how far he has to go to get that ball. Eloy's 6'2", he almost stretched out and speared that one.
You're right, though. Another step to his left. He's able to jump and make that catch. So talk about a game of inches, a double that Lovich just couldn't quite catch, and then that liner just over the reach of Vahiva's glove. Looks like Sam Thompson is going to pinch hit. Not before a mound visit.
Arkansas does have Cody Frank has been warming up in the bullpen. They might be buying a little extra time, but I think Frank's ready to go. He's just standing saying, I'm ready, coach. Yeah, a couple really good swings by the Golden Eagles.
We got a gargoyle or something down there on top of that phone in the bullpen that we just saw from Cody Frank. What, a gnome? Do we have a garden gnome in the bullpen?
Maybe. He's got his Razorback colors as well, too, though.
Either that or he's scaring away the birds, I think.
No crows in the bullpen, right?
Would think not. Sam Thompson from Owasso, a TCU transfer. He was with TCU from 20 to 22. Pinch hitting here and taking one just a little bit in. I'll get the fans riled up.
Arkansas is going to play for the double play. They're going to concede 1 run to try to get 2 outs. I think it's a smart move.
I think anybody would take that math if they could retire Thompson. But Carter's left a few pitches up, Troy, and I think he'd love to find a way to bounce back and begin the process of accumulating 3, whether he finishes this inning or not.
Okay, this is when you want to see what a pitcher's made out of. They're going to bow that neck and kind of show you something on the mound.
Didn't miss by much.
He is trying to entice that ground ball, keeping that ball down in the zone.
Thompson looks like somebody who can run, though, so he might be up for the task. Doubled and a single to begin this ORU 7th inning. Another fly ball hit well to left center. Playable for Lovich. He's going to make the catch and throw in towards second base. Tagging and scoring is Herring with the first ORU run of the game. It's 4-1.
Nice job of pinch hitting by Thompson. Does his job and drives that baseball to the outfield. You're not going to get a hit. The next best thing is get a sac fly.
About his outing the other day, and you could see a little bit frustrated, but nerve-wracking just being back out there on the mound. if nothing else, today's just one more game back to kind of eliminate some of those, I don't know if nerves is the right word, just the anxiety of not having pitched in a year.
Yeah, I think so. I think just being a little anxious.
Garrett Casey, the catcher, in. Now a ground ball would end this inning. Arkansas could turn a double play. That's something they have not been doing with enough success this year.
Yeah, I think so, and that might have a little something to do with the infield getting shaken up just a little bit. I think you're going to start seeing it settle down as we get into conference play.
Especially because Stovall playing second base today for the first time, and I would expect to see him out there a lot. I'm not sure if DVH has addressed whether he might DH him from time to time until he's fully healthy, or he's back and he's good to go. 2-1. Pitch to Casey. Waved at and missed.
Yeah, I think that Stovall, in the way he can do that pivot at second base, it's not an easy thing to do, and he's just more of that natural second baseman.
ORU has scored this inning. There's a chopper, could be two. Aloy will flip to Stovall, on to first. Scoop by McLaughlin. All of our storylines coming together. They get the double play. Stovall's back, and Benny Barrels picked another one at first.
How good has Ben McLaughlin?
I feel like the seventh inning stretch maybe needs to be a little bit longer now because the games are shorter in order to get all the songs in and the dancing.
Because it's an event.
It is an event, but here they call the Hogs between singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" and kind of pumping everybody up, where other markets only have seventh inning stretch, "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," and then music. We cram one more thing in there in the middle.
Got to have your caffeine and just get it done.
That's right.
Got to listen fast, Brett.
3-4-5 due up in the seventh inning. McLaughlin is 0 for 2 with the walk. Hit into a strange play where it looked like he had a base hit in the second inning. It was cut off by Whipperman in shallow right. Threw to first with the pitcher covering. That was an out, and then Stovall tried to score from second. He was out. And Arkansas gets a leadoff base runner aboard with the walk to McLaughlin.
Brett, here's the guy you just feel like that he's going to get a hold of one here pretty quick in Hudson Polk. Had a really nice fall and early spring and impressed Dave Van Horn to get some pinch hit opportunities and some starts in that DH spot.
It's popped up, grounded out, flied out tonight. Listen, it's not easy when you're getting at bats once a week, whatever it is. You kind of feel the importance of those at bats being magnified if you want to keep your name in the lineup on a somewhat regular basis. It's going to go all the way to the backstop. Free base for McLaughlin.
I think the music really kind of fired up this Baum-Walker crowd, and that's going to bring a visit from the dugout for the Golden Eagles.
It can be a little bit subdued on midweek games compared to the weekend. Of course, conference play starts on Friday, so everybody kind of saving a little bit of juice and energy. But
Scary thought that you're thinking my thoughts.
I can barely even digest what I'm about to see now with Polk and Patton. I would imagine I've seen Patton before at Eastern Oklahoma State because that is what I do, just travel around and see baseball. 2-0 the count, that's up and in. But when he was at Eastern in 2022, he actually, I think, got more time as a hitter than a pitcher. But last year, 30 appearances in relief for the Golden Eagles. He inherited a 2-0 count, so it didn't take him long to issue a walk.
Definitely has a big arm, 92 with both of those fastballs.
I mean, this is a guy who appeared in 3 different College World Series games last year. I mean, all 3 he pitched in. Opponents for the year hit 178 against him.
Yeah, so far this year, they're hitting 179.
All right, well.
So there you go, Mr. Consistency.
Say he is extremely consistent.
8 innings, 9 punch-outs. He's definitely a swing and miss guy. I think if you're Kendall Diggs, again, you know, he's Mr. Patient at plate. He's not afraid to take a pitch, but sometimes that first pitch might be the best one you get.
Edmondson running for Polk at first. Again, Arkansas willing to take these walks, and here's Kendall Diggs. to take strike one. Seven walks issued to the Hogs tonight. Diggs had the homer in the fifth to make it a 4-0 game. There's Will. Nobody out in the seventh. Big swing, fouled right back.
You can get away with that pitch if you've got some velocity on it. And Patton's sitting 92.
Drops one down and in to Kendall. His home run is third, the team's 17th.
The changeup's good for Patton. He just has not been able to land it for a strike. And maybe that might be on purpose. You might try to get Diggs to swing out of the zone.
Chopping. Not an easy play. Patton will make it. In essence, it works as a bunt, but that's not what Diggs intended to do. But a couple of guys move into scoring position with one out.
If you're going to make an out, you want it to be a productive out. And again, it wasn't pretty, but that's what it was. You're right. It was like a swinging bunt. And that's going to bring the Golden Eagles infield in. They're in all the way around at the cut of the grass. The third baseman, Breeze, he's a few extra feet back. He's like, I know the ball is going to get to me in a hurry. I'll take a couple steps back.
Peyton Holt tried to check, but that ball hit his bat. Peyton has just gotten on base 3 more times today. Walk, single, double. He's down 0-2. You know Patton would love to get a punch out for the second out.
That was a really good pitch on the inside corner. Really kind of locked up Peyton Holt.
Patton working quickly. Wave and a miss. 3 pitches and a K. A big second out. The infield can retreat to regular depth.
Now, he really used the whole strike zone well right there to Dalton Patton. Came into Peyton Holt and got him with that breaking ball away.
So it's Lovich. I mentioned coming into the game today where he's 0 for 2 with a hit by pitch. He's 9 for his last 17 with 9 runs driven in that stretch. He's got 2 minutes scoring position now with 2 outs. That pitch is down for ball 1. Patton to Lovich, hammered but fouled down the line in right, hit off the railing and ricocheted around those seats.
Lovich just a little amped up with that pitch down and in.
Someone got himself a baseball. Dad got it for him. ORU should get out of this inning if Rodriguez can get there, and the wind's going to push this towards the railing, and Troy, the wind just took that from being maybe a catch on the chalk into the first row of seats.
Yeah, I thought Rodriguez, I think he thought that he was going to catch that ball with about 10 feet of field left, and then you're right, that thing just continued to carry the spin of the baseball. He's taking an extra look right there, and I don't think he had any idea that ball was going to get into the stands.
18-mile-an-hour wind pushing that ball away from that man. So it's 1-2 to Lovich. Patton's pitch. On the appeal, our third base umpire says that's a swing and that's a strikeout. Arkansas got 2 free base runners. They left him in scoring position. Very much a game. As we go to the Saturday and Sunday. New coach as well for Mizzou. This is Whipperman against Frank to begin the 8th. He has one of the 7 hits for ORU. ORU's out-hit Arkansas. How often have I said that this year?
Too many times, I think, for Arkansas fans.
I mean, Arkansas is up 3 or 4 runs, but they've been out-hit. So it's back to that walks number we talked about. But they left a couple of free base runners in scoring position in the 7th.
Yeah, back-to-back strikeouts. Really nice job by Dalton Patton to come in there and slam the door on the Hogs.
ORU would like some base runners. Frank with the breaking ball for a strike.
I think I'd categorize Frank as a nibbler. He just kind of nibbles on that outside corner and just kind of keeps inching out just a little bit more each pitch.
And he gets the wave and a miss.
That was not one pitch in that sequence that wasn't on that outside corner or a baseball off. This is painting the black. That is a strike, a little tail back. And if you're Whipperman, you've got to swing at that pitch because it is a strike.
Well, this is what Chase Borfin and Peyton Stovall told me a year ago about Frank. To your point, little soft flare off the bat of Rodriguez will dump in for a base hit. So a 1-out single in the 8th. You called him a nibbler, Troy, and what Borfin and Stovall told me last year, they described his pitching style as spotting up, and they said nothing's over the plate, but he's still throwing strikes, and he makes you chase.
Right.
I think that's pretty good.
Because everything is a competitive pitch. Even the purpose pitches out of the zone are good enough to make you think, well, I better offer it that one.
I mean, that's a base hit, but it's 70 miles an hour exit velocity. So, that's a pretty good pitch. And credit Rodriguez for getting the hit, and this is Holden Breeze.
I think Breeze is going to see a steady diet of breaking balls right here.
Home run won't tie it, but one more base runner and a long ball will. Good pitch. Bottom of the zone.
Again, nothing in the middle of the plate, or everything is on the outer edge, even at the bottom or on the outside corner.
And I think when you're not an overpowering pitcher, and that was at 90, use all the quadrants. To me, that's what's, I think, imperative. Up, down, in, out. See what he does here, 1-2. Runs one down.
Kind of trying to turn that fastball over a little bit and get a little more sink. And Breeze is a guy you don't want to make a mistake with. You better not miss middle in.
I think that one out of the hands, Breeze recognized as being out. The count has gone full. Rodriguez not running down in the count. Is that a swing on the appeal? No, says Doug Thrasher. I'll be curious to see this one again. I thought he held back, Troy, but that was kind of a violent swing by Breeze to try and check. We'll take a peek. And that is a check.
Yeah, he used all his body and all his strength to keep that bat from crossing home plate. That's a really good call by Doug Thrasher, that first base umpire.
So here's Booker, and he does represent the tying run. He's knocked in 13 Golden Eagles this year. Hits one directly towards Wilmsmeyer in center in a few steps. 2 outs, and he's going to zing one back to second. That was fairly close.
It really was. That was a good deke by Wilmsmeyer. He looked like he was just going to lob it in to third base, and boy, he whipped it right back to Peyton Stovall.
Drew Stahl.
Drew Stahl will bat. He is the cleanup hitter, and he's 1 for 3. 11 homers, 57 knocked in a season ago, representing the tying run of the 8th. And taking the breaking ball for strike 1.
That pitch really had Drew Stahl back on his heels.
Single and a walk this inning. Frank is pitcher number 5 used by the Hogs. Fisher went 3 scoreless. McIntyre 2 scoreless. Then it was Hewlett, Carter, and Frank.
Arkansas does have somebody warming up in the bullpen. I think this is Frank's inning for sure. Cooper Dossett.
Soft little pop-up will find its way out of play to the right into the seats. People have had to be ready today in the box seats. Incoming. Pretty good battle shaping up here between Frank and Stahl. Next one on the way, up under his chin. He's got the C-flap on, but he was diving for cover right there, and you can't blame him.
Well, that thing had some tremendous run. How about 18 inches of horizontal break on a fastball?
2 on, 2 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. And a ground ball to a vacated spot with Eloy in the hole. It is going to score a run. And there's runners on the corners after the single by Stahl. It's a 4-2 game. I guess I wasn't watching where Eloy was setting up, Troy, but that's a routine ground ball to short, but he wasn't anywhere close to his normal spot.
Yeah, they had him positioned well in the hole, and he was probably about 40 feet away from this. He's not even in the picture right here. Again, that is a 10 hopper that Drew Stahl hit, but you can see where Eloy is. He is nowhere in the zip code close to that baseball.
Well, that hurts. That's one of those, and you could almost see the reaction there from Frank when he turned around. It was almost as if to say, no!
Yeah, as a pitcher, you kind of always kind of in your mind know where your defense is normally playing. And so off the bat, he's probably thinking, that's a ground ball to short. We're out of this one.
Remember, the single he gave up, the first hit was just a 70-mile-an-hour bloop over the head of third, and that was a slow ground ball that trickled into left center. But regardless, the tying runs are on base. Go ahead, run at the plate for the shortstop Herring, and DVH coming out, and I believe he'll be going to the pen for pitcher number 6.
Got to give the Golden Eagles a lot of credit. They're scrapping and clawing and finding a way to get some guys on base and move them around.
He hit a shot to the top of the fence and left for a double.
Yeah,
almost caught, almost got out.
Yeah, he's got some power, no doubt about it.
He's also hit the ball on the ground twice. Going to hit that, straight up the chute. Does Roland have a play? He does not. Landed above us. Probably hear the thud from our camera mics.
Yeah, I think that Breeze just, if it had any chance to stay in play, it just blew it right out. Pretty good swing on a 94-mile-an-hour fastball by Gackle.
Next pitch, cut on a missed.
A really good changeup right there at 86.
That's the hardest changeup I've seen in a while.
I know, 18 inches of break.
.97, then misses down and in. At third is Breeze. At first is Stahl. That ball hit well to left center field. Lovich racing over, still chasing. He will make the catch to end the inning. He had to cover a lot of ground. The bottom of the 8th.
Yeah, the senior left-hander, he's thrown 2 innings and giving up 3 hits. He'll sit mid to upper 80s with that fastball. Kind of a 3-quarter release guy and have a big sweeping slider.
So his father, Mark, was an All-American at Florida State, played Major League Baseball for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Very cool.
It's Roland, then Wilmsmeyer and Stovall, 8, 9, and 1, bottom of the 8th. Hogs up by 2. They've been out hit by 3. Ronan's going to make this look easy if he gets an out on 1 pitch. Stahl could not get there. It wouldn't be Baumwalker if there wasn't one of those a game.
Well, it's the time of night when that sky's black, so no issue there. I don't know what he was taking a look. He kind of looked away, and he's 20 feet from the fence.
He's lucky that didn't bounce fair. Now, if he did, Roland was still standing in the box.
I know. Parker's got some new life.
And remember, Roland is a switch hitter. Batting righty here, flies one out to Rodriguez in left, and there's one out. Now Ronan a year ago appeared in just 5 games. A couple of seasons ago made 14 appearances. Was good in 2022. They have been without 4 or 5 pretty good relief arms, and I know Coach Fulmar and company would love to get a few of these guys back healthy as they near conference play. Wilmsmeyer will bat. He's 0 for 1 with a sac bunt and a walk and a run score.
Yeah, Coach Fulmar just said, we're just trying to get to conference play and just trying to get some of these guys back. And it's really tough when you've got, especially in the bullpen, you got several arms that are down and out. Just trying to bring them along slowly.
Wilmsmeyer to bunt. That bunt was so bad it almost was good, because had that stayed on the chalk, Wilmsmeyer was trying to beat Stahl to that spot to get behind him.
Yeah, the thought of Wilmsmeyer is with a left-handed pitcher, they usually fall off toward the third base dugout. And what he wants to do is bunt it hard past that pitcher toward the second baseman. He just got it angled too much down that first base line.
And then Ronan gets the wave of a miss. Fly out, strike out, 2 quick outs here in this Arkansas 8th inning. Well, I thought Pat was awfully good coming out of the bullpen for ORU, and Ronan's got a couple of quick outs.
Yeah, he's looked really good so far.
So Arkansas just 6 hits in this game.
Yeah, they have not lit it up at the plate. Again, we talked about how many free base runners. They've been very patient. They've taken, 7 walks?
Stovall looks at a strike inside corner. Runs one from that front hip to the outside corner. Pop up and the wind will work its magic here and try and get this over to the dugout and on in. I thought that might go further out than where it ended up.
Tell you what, Reed Ronan kind of reminds me of Stone Hewlett.
Just a little bit of that.
Yeah, he kind of has that crossbody action. That release point's kind of 3/4 almost sidearmish. Kind of starts behind that left-handed batter.
Hard to pick up for those lefties. I don't think Ronan wants to face Aloy, who's on deck. He'd love to get Stovall in this inning and get his team back up there in the 9th. Ball laced to center. Hit well, but at the wrong part of the park. Rogers with the catch to end the inning. 108 off the bat. Team has 9 saves. It's the most in the conference. First pitch swinging is Rogers, and he fouls one back and out of play. So trying to make that 10 saves and 14 wins. That's a face right there from Coach Thompson.
Yeah, he was trying to get Lovich's attention going, you need to move a couple steps into the gap, son. They've got Wilmsmeyer swung around a little bit into right center field with the velocity of Gackle. They don't feel like that Rogers is going to pull him down the line in left field. Pretty good looking pitch right there by Gackle.
Didn't miss by much. Didn't maybe have quite the snap I think he wanted, but it was still right around the top of the strike zone. Late on 95. I believe somebody addressed our plate umpire by his first name, Matthew. They were
They've got a good scouting
That's
report.
right. Matthew, go to your room. Felt back and out of play.
Good job by Rogers battling right here.
6, 7, and 8 due up this inning for the Golden Eagles. Gackles 2-2. Strike 3 called.
Boy, that's just absolutely filthy. Breaking ball at the bottom part of the zone after seeing 95. That is down and away. Remember, it's where it crosses, not where the catcher catches it.
Landed that slider for strike 3. Those folks have not been quite as busy as recent games, but this is Thompson. He pinch hit, got a sac fly in the 7th to get ORU on the board. Stayed in, obviously, as the DH. Didn't miss the outside corner by much. Tell you what, on a few of his misses, they have been right there. On the ground, a skimmer right to Stovall. Peyton has not had many plays today. Handles that one, 2 outs. Oral Roberts down to its final out in the 9th inning.
Well, Gabe Gackle, he is just calm and composed on the mound. I'd like to see what his heart rate is, because with his facial expressions, it looks like it's about 55 right now.
Blake Nichols is going to pinch hit. He's got a homer, 6 knocked in. Take strike 1. Gackle paints again.
How about back-to-back changeups? You come in, the guy's throwing 95, 96, and he throws you back-to-back changeups at 86.
Oral Roberts down to its final striker out in the 9th inning. Rolled foul, maybe getting a little too aggressive there, 0-2. Put that one right down the middle of the plate.
Yeah, I think that's one that Gackle and Parker Rowland want about Bill High. If he comes back with a fastball, you've got to go up out of the zone, and you're going to get a swing or miss or get a mile-high pop-up. He wants a breaking ball down in the dirt.
Picked by Rowland, 1-2. Wave and a miss. Arkansas has won 10 straight games, and the #1 team in the land tunes up for conference play with a 4-2 win over a good ORU team.